Hey guys, how you doing? Did you miss me? This is the end of my last game before I went away for the weekend selling burgers at a festival. It was great fun, but I'm absolutely brain dead. I'm absolutely Gregor here, man. I'm telling you. So I've got an opponent from Kazakhstan, Hasak222. I don't know if they want to play, so let's find out. I've got a cup of tea. No, they're going to abort. Let's abort it. Let's play another one and see what we get. Okay, 11:51. Got the white pieces again. And they want to play. Hooray, let's go kind of normal. So I might completely get my tushy handed to me in this. We'll see. Okay, all normal. So we could play Scotch and Goering. We could play lots of things. Let's go Goering Gambit. Why not? Just for fun. So the idea is, okay, they've declined. So I have the opportunity here. I've got a couple of opportunities. If I push d5, that's going to make the knight have to move. It could go back, which is reasonable. It could come forward into my position, but then get kicked again. If I take and pawn takes, I could trade queens, but then knight can take. So then I win this pawn, don't I? So is that good? I don't know. Take, knight takes, pawn takes, then we trade queens, and then black loses castling rights. So I'm going to go for that. I'm going to go for that option. They've got two ways to recapture. Either I think is okay for me, but pushing may have been better. Okay, let's take the knight, and let's remove black's castling rights. It's only one legal move. King has to take. Okay. So now I could throw in a check, but it's pretty pointless because f6 and I lose tempo. I can just develop my knight. Looks fine. I'm seriously considering now this move maybe makes more sense. That pins the knight on the king. Even if they break the pin, I get to castle long with the rook straight on d1 giving check. I kind of like that. They can't take this pawn because it's defended by my knight. Okay, let's get castled with tempo. They can block with the bishop. There we go. Block with the bishop. Now if I attack the bishop, we could have c6, which again is kind of opening up holes a little bit. So if I do bishop b5, c6, I can move my bishop back here, targeting that pawn. We'll probably have the king then move. The king and the knight defend this bishop. I can take out the bishop. I kind of like putting pressure on here. Also completes development for white, so why not? Bishop can't take because it's pinned. And that's the advantage of this. Now, of course, the queens are off the board, so it's less of a disadvantage of losing castling rights, but it does slow things down for getting the rooks into the game. So I'm thinking bishop here. Target this again, forcing black to do a move that maybe he doesn't want to do. Sushil Joshi from Nepal. Nothing's defending this, by the way. Oh, that hangs this pawn, right? And I can escape always to b3, so I like that. I like the fact that this pawn here is weakened as well. Yeah, I can go ahead and take there. So I'm a pawn up now. Black attacks my dark squared bishop. My dark squared bishop could have possibilities on this side of the board because black's got a pinned bishop, pawns on light squares. I mean, I could think about coming around this way. It's a little bit slower, but then that pawn is undefended right now. And actually the bishop can't defend it because it can't go to either of these two squares. Rook guards that. And, of course, the knight is on that square. From here, I don't know. I'm going to go for the slower move. If g5, then black is really weakening his position. Okay, there we go. There's another hanging pawn. And how do you defend that pawn? Knight here would defend it. But then the knight itself can be kicked. Can't go to f2 with a fork because my bishop guards. So this is the issue right now for my opponent. Attacks my bishop. Now I can just go to e6 again, exploiting this pin. I mean, my bishop's undefended, but again I've got two attackers on here. It is defended twice. It's defended by king and knight. If I come here, then I've still got the threat of this. Means the king can't move away from the defense of the bishop, and neither can the knight. So the knight is effectively in a pin here. So still, you've still got this problem. And still, I think the only way to defend the pawn on e5 is knight g4, which runs into a kick. Another counter. Very interesting. a4. Knight to here doesn't work because bishop's on that. Here, they could still just take, and that's going to mess up my stuff. So I don't really want that. Okay. Right here, knight b1 might have a better route into the board. Right now, the only active bishop is this dark squared bishop. So, in a way, it makes sense to have my knight on a light square. Well, I don't really approve of this very loose pawn play. Look at this. Look at where all these pawns are in the game, man. Knight to here doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of dark squares, pawns around. But this, I don't know, I'm still kind of drawn to that. This is less good. Let's go knight b1. Still got pressure on this. It's still in a pin. Knight still can't move. I'm still attacking this pawn. So we're not doing anything crazy here. Okay. Right, the king has moved. What does that mean? It means that the bishop is no longer in a pin. All right. That means that my bishop is now actually hanging. So can I come down here? Or do I just take? If I take, knight takes. Then I can't win the pawn, because the knight will defend. So I'd still love that pawn. Bishop b3 looks fine. Stops any advance of this b pawn. If this comes forward, my bishop can just snatch it off, so let's come back. Bishops can be really effective from a long way away, so that's okay. And now, bishop still can't defend the pawn, knight still can't really defend the pawn. Oh! Oops. I can win the pawn back. But then that actually hangs, I drop the exchange if that happens. Alright. Interesting. If I do this, it might just take out the bishop, but that's okay. I might win a pawn out of that. I'm not a pawn up right now, so let's just think. Can I win this pawn? There, knight comes here. Both my rooks are under attack. Not really. Could move across. He takes my bishop, I take there. It'd be nice to keep the bishop pair, but there's no real way to do it other than to take this pawn, but that then hangs the exchange. Could then come in here though, threatens both the rook and the h-pawn. Do I want to centralise my rook? I think so. I mean, the other option is even like rook e1, either rook. But then also this pawn is attacked twice. So do I push the pawn? Let's push the pawn. If he takes it, I'll recapture with h. That will then mean that the h6 pawn is hanging. But I think the real defining feature of this game is how loose my opponent's pawns are. So what did I just miss here? Yeah, I think the thing with, after the king moved, so I had two attackers on this bishop. So probably what I should have done is taken here, forced the knight here, and then reinforced the pawn. That would have been better. It's an important pawn, controlling central squares. Okay. Oh, he's completely changed his mind. He's coming after the other bishop instead. Well, that's fine. Also defends this guy a second time. So do I just snatch the pawn? I think I do. I still have this. Notice the rook can't defend this pawn. It can't move and solve both problems because my bishop from here controls all of these corners. It's what I call the square. I don't know if it's got a better name. But probably rook he1 looks like sensible. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, so do I go here? Look how exposed that king is. Come here, attack the pawn. Pawn might just move up. Come here and attack the knight. Doesn't make a lot of sense. It's defended by this bishop, but maybe I could pin the bishop. Here, attack the knight. I'll go after this pawn. I'll go after the pawn. I am a pawn up. Rook he1 is a great move, just on principle. I think we're going to see h5. If h5, I'm just going to centralise my rook, pin this bishop. Okay. Now I can give check. And notice the king can't go here or here or here. So, no-brainer move there. This doesn't work. I've got two attackers. And now I can't win the bishop because the rook defends it. Don't have this. I mean, bishop's pinned again because the king's moved behind it, but the knight could take. I go here, knight takes me, I take the knight, my bishop falls. So again, I have the option to retain the bishop pair, which seems to make sense. Now, bishop d4 unpins this bishop, which I don't really like. So I could just trade off. Hitting the rook doesn't make sense with that. Lose a pawn. Here, let's revisit this idea. Knight is defended by the bishop and the rook. But I keep my two bishops, and I think that is a good thing. This is my extra pawn. I'd like to reactivate this knight as well, maybe centralise it. So what do you think? Knight d2, knight could come here or here. My bishop could come around there, it's quite nice. twice. I think getting my bishop out of there is another retreating move, but I'm eyeing up a nice diagonal which controls several squares on my opponent's side of the board and points towards the king. Okay, king's moved again. Wow, right. Notice this is under attack and defended only by the knight. So takes, loses a piece for black. That was the error there. So finally, the mistake comes. Doesn't matter how they recapture. The knight was the only defender after the king moved away. The knight was the only defender of the bishop. So that king had to stay here. If it wanted to avoid this diagonal, then okay. And now I can just snatch that with check. It's free piece and a tempo move. King has some options, all right. Undefended. I feel like I just want to centralize my knight now. I'm up a piece and a pawn. Okay, hits my rook. I can now develop my knight with check. It's no problem there. King has to move, knight is defended. And now I can get both of my rooks on 7th. So I need to watch out for back rank issues, of course. All these squares are out. So there are only 3 legal moves. A knight check can't be blocked by a piece, so if you can't capture the knight, which black cannot do, then the king must move. It's got to get out of check. Can't be captured, can't be blocked. Also, he can't go here because he gets forked. So he can't go there, he can't go there, or there. There we go. And now what do we think? Do we think rook e d7? Rook e e7? Target this pawn. How does he defend the pawn? Rook there. I'm slightly anxious about bringing both of my rooks off the back rank, but so you can see I'm using my time so much better than black. He's only really used a minute with the increment, so he's been playing far too quickly. Now this looks great, but I'm not really attacking that. Can I apply more pressure to it? Not easily. That does actually. So rook here. Knight e5 is defended by the rook. I'm now threatening the pawn. And actually my rooks control both of these open files, so on principle let's do it. This is my idea. I was talking about putting pressure on this pawn, but okay, you attack me again. Alright. Here, the bishop could drop back. That's not too bad. Bishop drops back there to defend the pawn. Oh, rook defends the pawn. Huh. I'd love to get my knight onto that square, you know. Thinking about this maneuver. I like it. Yep, like it. Central knight. Controlling lots of dark squares. Putting it on a light square when my opponent's only got a dark square bishop makes all the sense in the world, because if my knight is on a light square, it's controlling 8 dark squares from that position, right from here. but the bishop cannot annoy my knight. Can't see my knight. Okay, well that's one way of going about things. I'll bring my rook back in. I can throw in a check actually as well. Yeah, that was a decent move. But I don't think it's really going to work out well for black to trade off his this piece. So this is defended by the rook. Do I throw in the check? I will throw in the check. And he can't go here, can't go here or here. There he goes. Now check here is also on the cards. Again, he can't go there, there. So he has to go into a dark square. Now I can't move my knight. It would be great to move my knight with check there, but I can't because it's in the pin. So I could centralise my rook again. If I give check again, he comes here. My bishop's then en prise. Actually, no, it's not, because the bishop can't take. But if he takes and I recapture, then I lose my bishop. That's the problem that black had just previously. So that didn't really help much. Checking it's here. There's no way that these rooks can put any more pressure on this knight, so I'm not too worried about that. It's here, there. No, I just lose my knight. It's quite nice to have the rook defending this knight as well. Otherwise, I leave my king with a lot of responsibility, and that's not necessary. Okay, we've got 5 minutes. We need to get ourselves to a winnable ending. And so all I'm going to do is just drop the bishop back here again, block this pawn. If you take there, I take back. It could even take with the rook, but there's nothing wrong with taking with the king, starting to activate the king, get towards the centre of the board. Could even think about moving my king. Okay. So he's declined the... I am going to move the king actually. I'm going to move the king, unpin the knight. The knight is now threatening to come here, fork king and bishop. King has 3 squares it could move to. So I think black's doing the right thing here by declining the trade of pieces. Now I've got to be a bit careful about takes, rook here. Not terribly. I'm wondering now if I should just retrieve my knight. The problem with putting my knight on c4 is my bishop has no escape. There, king moves. I take bishop. He takes bishop. Where's the king going to go? Well, he can't go there. And he can't go on any of these squares. So if I give check, I think this is okay. I also have this check here. Forces the king to one of these. King can't go there because bishop then can take the pawn. King goes here, I can give check again. I can just move my bishop there, for example. I mean, that's another idea. In fact, I might still do that. Let's throw in the check now. I've got 4 minutes 30. But this is fine. I'm in a winning position. I've got a 10-second increment. I can't talk. Alright, he goes there now. This check again. And the king is forced here, yes? It's the only move. Now I think I can just win this. And everyone lives. Which is pretty cool. Check there. Leaves this. If I take first, the king has no squares. The king can't go there because the rook can't go there or there. Knight and rook, rook and bishop. knight covers. So the king can't move. And I think that's checkmate. Oh no, bishop takes. So, good spot hunting. Bishop guards that square. And he throws in a check. Okay. Thinking king e2. Can't take the rook. I could block the check, actually. Because his problem is he's facing losing a bishop. Now, if I block the check, he kind of has to trade off. And I think that's good for me. So I go here, he takes, rook takes. King can't fork bishop and knight because it would have to move into check to do so, and he can't go to that square or that square still. So let's block it. Should we block it, or do we just move here? Move there, he saves the bishop. But then gets checkmated, right? And that's what I'm interested in. I think this is mate, so knight guards, bishop guards, yes. Oh no, bishop's still in the way. So he has to retrieve the bishop now. Okay, and he's done it to a square where it still defends that and that. Which I think either of which would be mate. So, interesting. My king's also a little bit in the open. And also can't go on the dark squares. So, quite well played that. So I need a plan. That's defended only by the rook. So if I go here I'm walking into pins. Maybe the other move is better. I'm going to try and simplify now. Could have a check. Could come back here. Or forward into the board, actually. King d3 might be stronger there. This bishop is really saving black's bacon right now. One attacker. It's two checks there. I think, can I just come here? I think I can. That knight takes. This rook's also hanging now, so black again has to make a decision. What I would love to do is take this pawn with my knight. Or anything. Okay, king can't move, remember? So, is that the simplest way? Or do I get checkmated here? No, I can always block it again with the rook. I can always play my rook back. He does this. This is not checkmate because he gives up the e-file, so I can go there or there. King is still very much tied up. C3 takes. Maybe not bad. A3. We just block that. My knight's doing an important job there. Because the bishop and rook are both looking at that e3 square. This rook's starting to feel a bit silly now, looking at this pawn, longingly. So I think what I have to do now is just simplify stuff down, get the rooks off the board, and romp home. That's the plan. I'm on 11-17 right now. This game is worth 9 points for a win, lose 7 for a loss, win 1 for a draw, because my opponent's rated 34 points higher than I am. So I think around 30 points it goes away from the 8-8 equal game. Okay, so what's he going to do with this rook? Is he going to go here? Maybe I should have blocked with the other rook. Just got it off that h-file where it's doing nothing. And just control this old d-file. I mean, I'm doing that now anyway, so... And he's probably going to move off somewhere. I'm imagining there. Could always drop my bishop back with line up a discovery against that rook. You never know. Now he's thinking. Now he's having a right good think. What's his longest think so far? 40 odd seconds. A few in the 20s and that's it. So you spend a bit more time thinking at the start of the game to make sure you stay in a strong position. Don't blunder material. Then it makes life easier at the end of the game. So now I get the luxury of using his thinking time to do my own thinking, which you are allowed to do. And he's now starting to burn his clock, which is the wrong way to do it. This is such a long think that I'm starting to wonder if my opponent's still here. Hello, my lovely. Sasha was with me all weekend, weren't you, babe? Your breath stinks. What have you been eating? What do you think of this position? I don't care, I just love my daddy. Don't you? Right, has he disappeared? Sushil? Looks like he might have done. Looks like he's gone. Oh, right, no, get down there. Get down. Something happened. Sasha. Oh, Sasha, jump down. Jump down. Go on. Now, off you go. Go on, we've got chessing to do. Okay, I think I'm feeling like just dropping this bishop down here. Yeah. There's no checks. No good ones, anyway. So I'm lining up against this. Now the question is, what can my knight hit from there? Well, it can go here, actually. Now and hit that rook. That would be good. If you take my knight, you lose this rook. And that's really the end of the game. If we can break this pair of rooks up, then super duper, Mini Cooper. That's your name, Coop. Now I've got 2 minutes 47, which is plenty to convert a winning position. Again, he just can't come here. This still. Does it fail? He takes, I take, he takes. No, it doesn't. Yeah, if I do this, he can take with the rook. or the bishop. Hang on. No, he has to take the rook. If I go there and rook takes, I just give up a piece. There's no point in that at all. So another decent move from my opponent here. There, pawn takes, knight takes is possible. Go a4. I'm not worried about this. So take, rook takes. I don't know. No, because knight takes rook. This is fine. My knight's doing an important job there, so I think it's going to be a pawn. I'm going to push a3. Without his bishop, I'm going to take here now. I don't know if the bishop can take there, because here, it's check, king can't go there, king's forced here, other rook comes across. It's looking very matish to me. Huh. There. That is a skew. No, hang on. No, bishop there isn't playable because rook takes. I was really worried there for a minute. It's up. Remember I was talking about the importance of these controlling these two central files, and it was fine because I had my rooks on those two central files. Well, now I've allowed black to get all his stuff onto the central files. That check isn't on, which is good news. Okay. And he's trading rooks. All right. Now, does that win my bishop? No, it doesn't. Wow. Wowzers. And this is actually very common, you know. I think a lot of good players, decent players, are let down by the fact that we mess up in the opening phase of the game. I can attack the rook here. Notice the bishop still guards that square, so I just push the pawn. If I push the pawn, rook comes in here, attacks that pawn. There, rook comes in, and I need to move. Oh, what's that about? He's stopping me going there. Well, he isn't a lot, is he? But I need to activate my knight again. So I'm going to try and stick it back on this square, I think. That's a useful square. Now we could have rook here now, in which case it's going to be hard to defend this pawn. Bishop fork would hit rook and king. See, so yeah, what I'm saying is my opponent's rushed his moves at the start of the game, got himself into a poor position, and is now having to play better chess because of his poor position. Okay, that is a check. Got you. And a skewer. Now he's really having to dig deep. I have a check of my own. Oh, no, the rook's hanging still. What am I talking about? You can't take the pawn. You lose your rook. So I might have then, like, pawn c3. Defend all this. And gives my light square bishop a bit more mobility as well. Alright. So if I come to this square or this square, that's hitting my pawn again. Pulling out some decent moves. Alright, let's do this. Check. Then c3 defends everything. Because right now, I've actually got two hanging pawns, but... Okay. Now c3. I feel like I really gave him some bit of a sniff there. Sniff of an opportunity. Then he's got king takes. Let's just push it on. Let's just push. It's you know, this pawn is getting stronger as it proceeds up the board. Now it's controlling these squares. My rook controls these squares. You never know. Still at knight e4, just generally. It attacks his pawn as well. So look, I'm down to 1 minute 20, but there's no need to panic because I've used my time arguably slightly better than my opponent has used his. Alright, I'm going to sink my knight here. This is the pawn he wants, but he ain't going to get it. I can drop my king to c2. Okay, and it's not checkmate, is it? So you can come back here. Then I can skewer the king and maybe win this pawn. See, this pawn and this bishop teamed up. It's better the other way around, where the pawn defends the bishop in return. But I'm going to pick up another pawn here anyway. Yeah. Or this one. Am I worried about that check? He's still got that check. If I come here, let's say he checks me, I just dive back here. That's fine. I'll just start winning some pawns. 1 minute 18 still. Can't go in there because of the knight. See the power of this knight. Protected square in the centre, controlling load of dark squares. Oops. Loads of dark squares. Okay, that just gives up a pawn. And a rook. Silly, silly me. Okay, now I'm threatening this. Okay, I'm still +4 actually. Weirdly. I'm down in exchange, but I've got 6 pawns and my opponent's got none. Okay, there goes my king rook fork. Okay, I defend with my bishop. That defends this pawn and hits the bishop at the same time. My knight is on a dark square, so it can't be pestered by the bishop. I shall come here. So again, you see, just one silly move. I just went, oh look, free pawn. Snatched. Didn't read what was on the board. It was obvious. So you saw it. I know you saw it. I didn't see it. Okay. I think it's now time to push up. Push it. I can push my king. I can then push the b pawn. So it's now, yeah, operation don't screw it up. All this stuff is secure, right? The king cannot possibly capture any of these. Okay, you're taking a knight. The knight is defended. I think I can just push up like I planned. Also takes these squares away from the king. Definitely making life harder here. But for various reasons I've got myself into a stronger position, so we don't have to panic. It's what I'm saying is, nothing can be done about these. So I don't have to concern myself with that. Okay, I'd love to put my knight here, but my king's nowhere. I'm going to move my king back with ideas of this and try and win the bishop. And this is what you have to do if you're, mentally substandard as I am. have to read the board. There's two real things. There's what is on the board right here, right now. Yeah. And there is what could happen if, which is calculation. And there's no excuse not to read the board. So this is on the board right now. This is kind of a what could happen. The king and the bishop are in a knight forkable arrangement. My opponent needs to say to himself, why did white just play that move? And that's why. I'm going to give check anyway. 2 minutes 14. He's going to end up burning a lot more time than me, because it's quite easy for me now to make non-mistake moves. This is a blockage, right? It's stopping this rook from giving checks. This bishop is ghosted from all of this stuff. Right? The only things I've got on dark squares are these. And that's not going to be the case forever. I've got 3 pawns on 2 files. They can just shuffle up. I've got all the time in the world. I can do that now. To annoy the bishop still further, notice that the king is now not checkable by the knight. Guess we can just carry on, can't we? There's no checks from the rook. Bishop might go there. In which case, I think I'll just centralize. Still no rook checks. If I'd have gone this way, you'd have had this check. Might be a bit on the annoying side. Also got to avoid repetitions as well. Now he's down to 5 minutes 47, and my clock's actually growing. I said clock. Okay, he's attacking the pawn is defended. Has a check here, maybe. I can go there, that doesn't work. Just push up, I guess. I push up here, 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 king there. Yeah? This is the general plan. Use these 3 guys as a team. You can't go there, because knight guards. So that's it for checks. I'm also hitting your rook. So the rook now does have to move. It can't be defended. It's on a light square. So the rook's got to move. And doesn't have all that many good squares to go to. Might stick my king in here where it's safe from both rook and bishop. And again, this king, although it seems like it's out in the open, is actually doesn't have that many squares to go to. Look at this bishop as well. So I think I will stick my king in there. It's just one less thing to worry about. And he resigns. It's plus 14 for white. Okay, so we'll have a quick look at the review. I don't think that was my my finest hour on the speedrun, but actually 80 accuracy. Did we guess the ELO now? Okay, it put me to 1400. My opponent apparently played an excellent opening and an excellent end game and still lost. Interesting. Wow. And he played 78.2, only just less accurate than me, but it gave him 1200. Okay. So, this is a book move. All right, and that was not ideal. Does it want me to push? It did. But that's still good. Forced. Yep. Knight c3 is good. Okay, bishop out, directly attacking the weak pawn. And that's not great. I mean, blocking a check with a piece always means that you pin the piece. So this remained a problem for black for a little while. Okay, I attacked it, but that wasn't best, was? Okay, still just here. Targeting that stuff. Great move. Now I come back to there, and which is kind of what that was the plan, wasn't it? And that's not great. Drops the pawn. Wasn't ideal. take first. The threat of a continuity. So now they can't take... Hang on. No, they have to take back. Yeah. Because if they take this... No, I get... It's still 2 pieces each. Still 2 pieces each. And that's a blunder. Oh, what did I miss? Okay, what did I miss in this position? Is it still takes? You should have done that. Still takes, attack the pin piece, which then actually can't be defended again. Yeah, that's interesting. Have to remove the defender of the, just remove the knight. Remove the damn knight. I decided to save the bishop pair. I wasn't thinking tactically. You take out the knight here, however he takes, you've got like this. Right? This bishop's in a pin and can't capture, and neither of these 2 rooks, stuck as they are in the corners of the board, can come to the bishop's aid. Yeah, so bishop e6, absolutely the best move there. Yes, I missed that. Totally missed that. Knight b1, completely undeveloping the knight, was the best move there. And notice here I'm only 1 pawn up, I'm plus 2.3. It said trade, I wanted to keep everything on the board. Yeah, I gave up the pawn. Yeah, that was inaccurate. Yeah, he should have traded that. Okay, rook h1. Yeah. So I moved the piece here with a threat. It wasn't a proper threat, right? Whereas a better move would have been to develop my final rook, which I do on the next move. Yeah, so this is a bit shoddy. And yeah, this just loses material for reasons that we've described, right? This knight is under attack. Therefore, I can delete it. This knight and the king are defending the bishop. The bishop is also under attack. Right? If the king undefends the bishop, bang, bang, and then the rest is kind of history. But yeah, we both had to knuckle down for that ending. My opponent played very well in the ending, but had already gotten himself into a rotten position. And it was really just this move, you know? This move. Move 24. Let's have a quick look at the timings on that move. 23 seconds he took. So it wasn't a rush as such. Hang on. So here. No, it wasn't. King b7, 8.7 seconds. And I don't know, yeah, at 11:42 he should have seen this. Knight's the only defender of the bishop. It is under attack. Can the knight be removed? Yes, it can. Simple as. So, you know, I made a meal out of that one, but we carry on climbing and showing that it is possible even when your energy levels aren't that great or your brain isn't performing all that great, that the power of just thinking what if and stuff like that. And obviously I made a blunder of my own, you know, just snatching at a piece and not even looking at the 64 squares in front of me, right? And that's what happens when you are careless. So don't be careless. Always be on the lookout for these tactics, because honestly, this is, you know, I was in a good position at this point, but yeah, loss of that piece really turned the game, and I was even able to blunder a rook later on and still just push forward with a very comfortable position. So there you go. Nice to be back. Hope you enjoyed the video, picked up 1 or 2 things. Thank you for watching, and of course I'll see you soon.